Hello everyone. The objective for today's lesson is to understand what are clouds, the unit to measure clouds, and then we will do a small portion on rain and the measurement for rainfall. So let us begin. Now, what are clouds? This is a unit that which you've already covered in the previous chapter, but I'll quickly review. So please underline as water from various sources evaporates vapor, being lighter and reaches high up in the sky, there it cools down. So it's basically two important processes that is associated with the formation of clouds, the process of evaporation followed by condensation. So this leads to the formation of clouds. Please underline. Cool air cannot hold as much water vapor as warm air, which we've already learned in humidity. So the vapor condenses. The cluster around the dust particles present in the air and form big masses called clouds. So what is a cloud? A cloud is a visible mass of water droplets of frozen ice crystal suspended in the atmosphere above the surface of the earth. Alright, so how do you form clouds? It's a process of evaporation followed by condensation that leads to the formation of clouds. So, on reaching a certain height, what happens? The water vapor present in the air starts to condense. And then they form tiny droplets of water. These droplets they collect together to form clouds. Majority of the clouds form in the troposphere, but there are occasions where you can see clouds in the stratosphere and mesosphere, also the high level clouds. The amount and type of clouds cannot be measured by any instrument, so meteorologists record them by observation. So there's no particular instrument to measure clouds, but the meteorologists who record weather record clouds by just observing the expanse of clouds in the sky. They just observe the clouds, and then that is how they interpret the cloud cover for the day. Now, moving to the next. How do you measure clouds? Because there's no instrument, but on what basis? So please underline the cloud cover can be measured and recorded by simply giving an observation to the expanse of clouds in the sky. So by just simply looking at the cloud cover in the sky, it can be measured and recorded. The cloud cover is measured in octas. So this is the unit for measuring cloud cover, octas. Okay, octas meaning the fraction of sky covered by clouds. So how much fraction of the sky is covered by cloud? That unit is known as octas, which is a unit to measure cloud cover. Now, how do we interpret octas? So please underline. When the sky is cloudless and the symbol is used as a clear circle. So if you look into the symbol, this octa, a small circle, just empty circle, a clear circle, which means the sky is cloudless, meaning it's a very clear day, a bright sunny day. When the sky is totally covered, what happens to symbol? The small circle becomes a circle which is not clear. Okay, it's shaded black inside, meaning the sky is completely covered by clouds and it can rain anytime. And the third is a symbol, a clear circle with a cross, meaning the sky is obscured. What do you mean by obscured? Obscured meaning concealed, keep from being seen. You can see it partially, but you cannot. It's not completely clear, neither it's completely covered. So obscured meaning keep from being seen. So you can see partially sky, and but majority of it is cloud cover. So these are the three ways in which octas are expressed. One is a complete clear circle, meaning a clear day, a cloudless day. Complete, circle filled inside, means sky is totally covered with clouds, and obscured with a small cross, meaning neither completely covered neither completely seen, somewhere in between. So that is how you measure clouds. Okay, so two things you have to remember: how are clouds formed? Because of the process of evaporation followed by condensation, and then you need to measure cloud, that is octas. Now, moving to the last objective for today's lesson, rain. Now let's try to understand what you mean by rain and the measurement for rainfall. Okay, so let's underline. Precipitation is any form of moisture which falls on the earth, which could be rain, snow, hail, sleet. So these are all different forms of precipitation. So precipitation is any kind of moisture that drops on the earth, that is known as precipitation. Rainfall is one form of precipitation, even snow is one form, hailstones are one, sleet, those are all different forms of precipitation. So how does rainfall occur? When clouds reach high altitudes or are forced to rise due to high mountains, they change into water droplets forming rain. Rain is one of the most common form of precipitation and the ultimate source of pure water. That's why rainwater harvesting is practiced, isn't it? So that they can catch and store the rainwater because it's one source of pure water. Okay, so that is how rainfall occurs. Now coming to the instrument part, what is the instrument used to measure rainfall? The amount of rain that falls over a region is measured by an instrument known as rain gauge. So rain gauge, this is the instrument to measure rainfall. So let's try to understand how does this rain gauge works. So please underline, the rain gauge consists of a metal cylinder fitted with a collecting vessel. So do you see a cylinder with a funnel and the vessel fitted inside? All right, so it's a cylinder with a vessel fitted inside. So cylinder is fitted with a metal funnel which leads up to the collecting vessel. So there's a funnel, this is a funnel, so rain falls down the funnel and then ultimately drops in the vessel. The hole in the funnel that leads down to the bottle is kept very small so that evaporation is kept at its minimum. This is important. Why is this hole in the funnel very small? This is very small so that evaporation is less. If you have a really big hole, meaning there can be more evaporation and you will not get the accurate reading of rainfall because most of the rain would be lost through evaporation. So that is why hole is kept small so that evaporation is less. At the end of the period for which the rainfall is being measured, the rainwater that has collected in the collecting vessel is poured into a graduated measuring jar. So after the rainfall gets collected here and when it starts collecting, after some time, finally, they pour all the rainfall into this measuring jar, which is graduated. This word, graduated, meaning which is marked. Do you see their markings 50, 40, 30? So that is why they are known as graduated, meaning they're marked. The graduation on the measuring cylinder is such that the reading is obtained of the depth of the rainfall over an area. So once you pour all the rainfall in this jar, you will get an idea how much centimeter or millimeter rainfall had occurred in that region. All right, to measure snowfall, snow is collected and melted and then measured. So same for snowfall also, first snow is collected, they take some time for the snow to melt and then they pour the water into the cylinder and then that is how they measure. But now there is a more a modern and a more sophisticated form of measuring rainfall, that is through pluviograph. Pluviograph is basically a self-recording. You don't have to pour it in the cylinder like this rain gauge. It's a feature to register recording with an automated graphing instrument. So automatically it graphs the amount of rainfall. So it's a more modern and version of rain gauge. Okay, so pluviograph is also an instrument to measure rainfall, but a more modern form where everything is automated. And coming to the last portion, where should you place rain gauge? This is important. Whenever you are placing rain gauge should be placed in an open area where there are no obstruction such as buildings or trees to block the rain. If we keep below building or just next to tree, what happens? It is important that we should not place it in, below near buildings or trees, so that to prevent the water collected the roof of the building or the leaves of the trees from dripping into the rain gauge after a rain shower, which can result in inaccurate reading. So if you place this rain gauge just next to a tree or below a tree or building, what happens? The water from the trees also might drop inside and can give you inaccurate reading. The roof of the building, the water falling from the roof of the building might also enter the rain gauge if you keep it below or near to buildings or trees. So when it enters, then you will not be getting accurate readings. So in order to avoid getting inaccurate readings, you should always place your rain gauge in an open area where there is no obstruction of trees or building. And the last one, the rain gauge must be firmly held in the ground so that animals do not knock it down. Firmly meaning securely, tightly, with little possibility of movement. So it has to be placed on the ground in such a way that there's no knocking down of the rain gauge by animals that can again give you inaccurate or no readings at all. So two things you have to be very careful. One, placing it away in an open area away from trees and building, and second is firmly, tightly, keeping it on the ground. So that is about rain and clouds. Thank you for watching.